you very much, Dirk and Cordula, and welcome to everyone. I think this is going to be really an interesting conversation, as we know that employment in tourism is quite a complex challenge for all of us. We know that tourism industries are labor intensive and provide jobs for many people, ranging from well-trained professionals to newcomers. While UNWTO is collecting data on tourism employment, only about 40 countries worldwide have these data disaggregated and available. So it makes it very challenging to have global statistics for the sector. So at UNWTO, the statistical department led by Clara, who leads the data collection on employment, but other departments as well are working on it, such as the Tourism and Market Intelligence department led by Sandra on policies, and the ECSR department looking at the lens of youth and gender. So we have both today, Clara and Sandra, and we want to make the most of our discussion so that we can have truly empowered conversation for the way forward. We know that according to ILO estimates, over 230 million workers, or approximately 7.2% of the global workforce, are employed in tourism hospitality industries, because ILO does not collect statistics on employment for all sectors in all industries in the tourism sector, nor do we collect statistics for indirect industries related to the sector. So this leaves us with a gap to measure employment in all tourism industries, direct, indirect, and induced impact. And this is the whole purpose of our discussion today, starting at destination level, which could be a perfect laboratory to looking at the lens of collecting those statistics. So we are still left with the gap to measure employment in tourism. And UNWTO and other knowledge partners have undertaken many studies showcasing the sector's importance for employment and income generation, including for women and youth, and as a source of economic diversification, particularly in rural and remote areas. This can be as well a significant source of employment for disadvantaged and vulnerable groups. And we know very well that the decent work agenda, looking at accessibility and disadvantaged people, has huge opportunity as well. On the one time to find seasonality, but as well provide opportunities for all. So according to the TIVA methodology, the trade in value added methodology led by WTO and OECD, which includes statistics from TSA and UNWTO methodology, it is estimated that one job in the core tourism sector has a 1.4% multiplier effect in income generation, quite challenging to correlate with job created once again. The OECD ILO research 2 years ago shows that around half of tourism employees work in enterprises of fewer than 10 people, while around 3/4 work in enterprises of fewer than 50 people, making MSMEs a key to decent work in tourism. So we know that the challenges exist as jobs in the tourism sector and can be characterized by low wage, long working hours, a high turnover rate, and limited social protection, shift in night work, seasonality, temporary and part-time employment, as well as other non-standard forms of employment, including an increased rate of outsourcing and subcontracting, are as well very common. Also, the gender pay gap, with women being paid on average 20 to 25% less than male workers for comparable skills, is a challenge. All of these are the core issues to be addressed at policy and governance level, and are at the forefront of the current problems tourism industries are facing with the difficulty of retaining or employing people in the sector. And we know there has been a huge evasion of employees from the sector in the post-COVID era, where people were losing the jobs, they had to find other jobs, and they do not return to the sector. So on data and employment, we very well know that UNWTO in its statistical database collects data on employment in the tourism industry. And I just explained that currently about 40% of the countries in the world report on some kind of data related to tourism. So this on another hand, based on their own econometric model, WTTC reports that in 2022, there were 22 million new jobs, representing 7.9% increase on 21 and only 11.4% below 2019. But this cannot be official statistics. This is an estimate. And according to Eurostat, and we have the pleasure of having our colleague from Eurostat with us, tourism industries account 1 in 5 people employed in the service sector in the European region, employed a higher share of women, lower educated workers, foreign workers, and young workers. The EU tourism labor market is characterized by relatively high share of part-time employment, temporary contract, and shorter average seniority. So UNWTO data collection on employment and OECD data converge, showing percentage of employment in tourism industries in comparison to overall jobs, according to which in OECD countries such as Malta has the highest percentage of employment in tourism with 15.6%, followed by Greece 13% and Spain 12%. Key findings from the second UNWTO Global Report on Women in Tourism 2019 shows that most of the 54% of people employed in tourism are women, 39 are in the broader economy where are as well women, 14.7% less earnings by women in tourism, 16.8% less earnings by women in the broader economy, 23% of tourism ministers are women, 20.7% of government ministers are women, and this same report recommends that countries commit to the implementation of international agreed UN standards for measuring employment in tourism. So all this said, we know that measurement of employment in tourism, what could be the way forward? And I think this is the whole purpose of the discussion today, trying to advance. We all know that strong policies need data. There's a very high level policy relevance of data in tourism employment, as it shows the job creation potential and the shortages, which is highly relevant for a competitive and sustainable tourism sector. However, despite its perceptive importance as a policy area, many countries still find it challenging to develop these systems of tourism statistics to structurally produce statistics on employment in tourism. And tourism is a very cross-cutting sector, and investment in statistics are needed so that employment statistics can be collected at the sufficient level of disaggregation to allow for the identification of tourism industries. The importance of employment is here reflected in the IRTS 2008 and the TSA RMF, with chapters and sections dedicated to the measurement of employment and jobs. And the Measuring Sustainable Tourism statistical framework features employment in current chapter 3 on economic dimension, under measuring the employment aspect of tourism, describing in details the possible ways of measuring employment in tourism, making reference to IRTS and TSA table. It is also reflected in the chapter 4 on green jobs and chapter 5 under the social dimension. Now, for the sustainability measurement purpose, which is the scope of all INSTO observatories, a number of indicators emerge from these data. And these key indicators include the total employment in tourism industries in terms of number of jobs and number of persons, and the share of employed people in tourism relative to the total economy. More analytically, it may be relevant to compare the total number of jobs or the total number of persons employed in the tourism industry to provide insights into the nature of the labor market, how it is changing over time, and what the future of work in the tourism industries might look like. Sorry to have been so long, but I think it is important at this point in time, as some INSTO members are MST expert in the MST expert group, provide relevant aspects to this consultation process, such as the observatories, two of the Canarian Islands, the Aegean region of Greece and Croatia, the Andalusia Observatory. We just met a few days ago in Marbella. As such, INSTO observatories that are committed to measure in the 11 key issues area can serve as an example for other destinations and shall align their indicators with forthcoming MST indicators in order to collect comparable data. So bottom-up approach and the destination-related approach have many relevant experiences and know how to contribute to the technical consolidation and implementation of this international statistical framework, which we hope will be adopted next year at the UN. So the 38th INSTO Observatory can play an important role in showcasing practical experiences and how destinations can become more involved in the sustainability discussion and foster resilience through regular monitoring. So I would like to thank the few newcomers. We know that several are already joining us maybe today, but such as Batanes in the Philippines. But we see as well other newcomers that are in discussion with us, with Centro Portugal, Cali in Colombia, the Atlantic Coast in Ireland, and Gifu Prefecture in Japan. So these are all very welcome new, I can say, partners. We consider that this is going to advance our overall work on measuring sustainable tourism. And we are looking as well at having very fruitful discussion with all of you today. Thank you very much.